Welcome to the LEC post-game lobby. It's me again, and I'm excited to be joined by Caedrel and special guest caPs, who just defeated Vitality. How do you feel after this game, caPs?
It feels really good. It was a big win. Securing top 4 is really big for us. So I'm just excited for tomorrow's game and then playoffs.
So, Corky pick, 12.4. Was it more so for the comp to have some kind of poke, or was it just like, well, I think we can scale this game, we'll be fine?
Yeah, I mean, we definitely wanted like the long range. We had Astro as well, right?
Yeah.
And then also there were like quite a bit of mid bans. So at that point, we always just like, you always have to figure something out, right, from the target. And today it was Corky. Maybe tomorrow it will be something different.
Something different, something spicy?
Poses aside, because the game was going your way, even though the pace of the game may have been slower than expected, you know that usually Vitality comes out alive in the mid-game and in the mid-game regroupments especially. When you guys tend to collapse in these moments and have some funny moments, let's say, as Targamas told me yesterday, were you worried that it would come out victorious, even though you had a good early game?
I mean, we were kind of like debating a bit the game because we were really far ahead, so we could probably have ended a bit faster. But because the game was very important for us, we also ended up just like playing for Drakes and waiting with the packages because then we couldn't really lose. Like we tried one time the bot lane, I went bot to like try and kill GP and we just died and we're like, okay guys, let's just do Drakes.
Yeah, I saw how reserved you are as well, because I remember there was a point where you took 3 inhibitors and Elder was spawning in 30 seconds and you all kind of like shifted back a tiny bit just to make sure in case anything sketchy happened, because if you get aced when you're trying to end and you give Elder, maybe you would get misfit flashbacks.
Been there before.
When you take this game maybe compared to the first one you played against Vitality at the beginning of the split, I think it fell short in the early game, especially bot lane, if I'm not mistaken, was Selfmade being very proactive on the bot side. What's your take on Vitality's evolution since then, but also G2's?
I mean, I think Vitality is a really interesting team because they don't really have like a super specific style. Like they like to play a lot of very different drafts. They're harder to prepare for than other teams because you don't know exactly what they will play. A lot of time you just kind of know what the enemy team will play. But it's also kind of showing, especially in B1s, that it's hard for them to always know what to do. And sometimes when they fall behind, they might not have a great way of coming back in the game. Like today, for example. And yesterday as well, like it feels like sometimes they just kind of get lost on the map.
So we as a viewer, we only see the regular season best of ones. And without leaking too much, of course, is Vitality a different beast in scrims than they are on these kind of competitive best of ones games?
I'm not sure. I mean, I think they're... I think they're like... In a way, I guess they're easier to play against in scrims because we see their draft and then they usually like to run it back, right?
Yeah.
But what I mean is that they change like from week to week the draft. But I don't feel like they change the draft like if we're scrimming in 5 games, it's not like they change every game.
Okay.
They might just run back the same draft. So in that sense, then they kind of lose that power, I guess. So I would maybe say the other way around. But I just think it's hard for them, what's it called, especially in B1s, because they prepare all these different drafts and then they can't, I guess, get to...
Yeah, it feels like they have like a formula, and once they have that formula figured out, then you know what they're going to go for. Despite like 1 or 2 champions being taken away, they'll find a way to rebuild the same kind of comp.
Yeah.
I think it's Mephisto in an interview that said that Vitality still now is struggling to find a real identity because they have so many good personalities within the team. What is it with G2? Do you think you're settled on the style you want to play, or are you still exploring maybe?
I mean, we're trying a bunch of stuff. I think we want to be very flexible because especially when the patch changes and stuff like this, and we kind of want to play like the best way of League of Legends. We don't want to just play like our best way. We want to like practice what we're maybe worse at. It's still regular season, it's still spring split. Like we have also now we're a good spot to go into playoffs, and we have a lot of weeks of practice. So we just want to practice a bunch of different stuff, and we want to practice things we're maybe worse at. But at the same time, we always have things that we can fall back on. And I think maybe that's kind of what Vitality is lagging. They're kind of lagging the style of they're falling back on, I guess.
And outside of the game, how are the vibes? Because we see all these game celebrations. You look like you're having a hell of a good time with that basketball one last time. You were proper feeling it. Compared to last year, how is the team atmosphere?
I think it's a lot of fun. This is the first time I played with, I guess we have like a few younger players now.
This one was great.
We're playing with more rookies now compared to the other years I've played with. And it feels great because they have so much energy.
Yeah.
Obviously, in the past, I've always played with like veterans, like they've played so many years, and while they're like insanely good and know a lot, they don't have the same hunger that the rookies we have, and especially like Flaggett is bring so much good vibes, I think.
Yeah. Do you thrive
And,
off that energy? Do you really build from it?
For sure, yeah. I mean, the thing is, it's like, it's contagious, right? Like if
That was your basketball session at 1 a.m.
What was that about, and where's the LEC invitation, please?
I mean, the thing is, our instant just died at like 1 a.m. So we didn't really have anything to do, and we kind of all just gathered in the game room. We were like, so guys, what are we doing? And then we saw like the basketball. We were like, wait a second, maybe we could go play basket.
How cold was it?
Oh my God.
It was like,
1
it was
a.m.?
pretty cold. But I don't know, again, Flaggett is like crazy. He was just not feeling the cold at all. And both me and Bibi were like looking at him. We're like, okay, so you're not feeling cold at all. Then we started running a bit, and it started getting hot, right? Then we got warmer.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was a crazy night.
That sounds like a very, very fun night, though.
Honestly, yeah. I'm also wondering, do you often do activities together outside of the game?
I mean, we do stuff. We don't
Okay.
do like last year we were doing more sports because it was summer, but now it's like winter, so it's hard to do too much sports. But we're doing like sometimes we will either watch, I guess, like a movie, or we will go
Anime, I heard.
Yeah, we watch anime, or we will go for food as well, like once a week. So we try to get some stuff done together, because it's always good to do like team building exercise, especially in the off season when we didn't really know each other that well.
Yeah.
We had like a boot camp where we just got to know each other.
Nice.
It's really, really cool. And I know that Broken Blade especially likes a lot of anime. When I visited you, I know that he has like a huge shelf with many of them. And talking about Broken Blade, he got the player of the game again today, 47% of the votes, forcing action bans and also bringing in a lot of new picks. And I remember that when I came to see you guys on Tuesday, it feels like him and Jankos especially, I know that everyone has a voice, but these two especially looks to have a stronger voice, and they give a lot of input. What's your take on Broken Blade and how he's fitting with the team and the role that he took upon G2?
I mean, so I'm super happy with Broken Blade. He was one of the guys who joined the gaming house the fastest. We were doing tryouts in the off season, and I think we decided on him very fast. So I got to spend a lot of time with him, just like us. We were playing all sorts of games and having a lot of fun. So he's definitely a guy who's very easy to like get to know, and he's very easy to talk with. So that's always nice. And I mean, he's just playing really well. Like, I mean, for sure this game is deserved. He was killing Alfari over and over, right? And he just like took over the game. So sometimes he just takes over the games. Other games he will just do fine, you know. It's not like he has had any really in games. He's either just doing fine, or he will just take over the game, which is obviously really insane.
Do you ever like 1v1 your top laner in certain matchups? Because maybe he can help you with mid champs, you can help him with top champs. Like sometimes like maybe Irelia or Akali into his Gwen or something. Is there a lot of 1v1s going on?
I mean, we definitely played the fair share of 1v1s. I mean, we played some matchups, and we also like to play like the Mundo 1v1.
Oh yeah, in the Baron pit.
We played like the Yasuo 1v1. Today we actually played Yasuo Yone versus Yasuo Yone. Like a 2v2.
Was it in the Baron pit, or was it like a 1v1?
Both people in Baron pit, and you have to only hit
only
Qs.
Q.
And me and Flaggett just destroyed Jankos and Broken Blade, so...
Oh, it was a 2v2, so it was you and Flaggett versus Broken Blade. Was it a 2-0
Nice.
clean?
It was 2-1.
2-1, okay,
Yeah,
still.
it was 2-1, yeah.
That's funny, though.
Amazing. It's interesting because by the end of last year, everyone was already thinking of Broken Blade within G2 and how well he would fit with the team. Such a success.
Yeah,
It's
powerhouse
exciting.
solo lane. I think in lane phase
Yeah.
he's fantastic. I mean, we saw it this game, right? He just picks Tryndamere into GP, and then he just gets like 2 or 3 solo kills, insane pressure over side. We saw it as well in the Misfits game. As much as you did like have a happy game,
Yeah.
he was still solo killing top and getting huge leads for them.
Yeah, amazing players so far. And let us take a broader look in the LEC because we have one game left for each team. So what are the key at stake for tomorrow? Because Vitality didn't win,
Yeah.
which means that everything is still up in the air, Caedrel.
It's gotta be Vitality, Mad. So tomorrow, Vitality play against Astralis. If they win, they're in playoffs. If
Okay.
they lose, Mad Lions then play against BDS.
And
If
they
Mad
need to
Lions
win.
beat BDS in that game, Vitality will finish 7th place and will be knocked out, and Mad will go through.
And the fight for top 2 is still open. The Rogue with the best cards to finish first so far, but we've seen some struggles on the side of Rogue maybe. Caps, do you agree?
Yeah, I mean, I mean, to be fair, I'm like kind of surprised how well Rogue has done. I think, as well as many others, that I didn't have them as high going into the split, but they really showed up on stage. And while the second half hasn't been as good as the first half, they have still shown like some good stuff. Obviously, we're going to beat them tomorrow, so they will not probably not get first, at least if Fnatic wins, right?
Yeah.
But they have showed up anyway, and if we play a BO5 against them, I'm sure it'll be fun.
Yeah, and BO5 is something a lot of people are thinking about with Rogue because you always have these regular seasons where they do fantastic, and barring that one time they got to the finals, they just kind of like fall apart in best of fives. Do you think this is a different version of Rogue we're going to see in a best of five?
I mean, it's hard to say because we haven't actually seen them before, right? I mean, we've seen some of their players, and sure, they have done worse. But like now it's a completely different team. Maybe the atmosphere is different, and maybe they just show up, because I think a lot of people are counting out in best of five. And I also do think that I'm not counting them as big a threat in BO5s. But that's what we said about BO1s as well. And that's what a lot of people said about BO1s. Yeah. So I think it's, we'll just have to wait and see, right?
Yeah, definitely.
They're coming back after a tough year when it comes to best of five for Rogue. When I was talking to Comp earlier and thinking of playoff, he was telling me that unlike the previous years in the LEC, it's hard to say who's going to take it to the end and win the title because, because of the way the game has been played, but also because even the top teams are not so dominant, I would say. What, any expectations for playoffs maybe in that regard?
I mean, I'm really confident. Like, I think we're just going to take it.
Nice.
I think this, as I said, I feel like we have a really good thing going on. And we were doing really well throughout scrims the whole year. But the problem was that we were losing on stage. And we realized that we're actually losing game one in scrims like all the time. So what we did is we did warm-ups. And the last 2 weeks, we just did warm-ups before stage. And then we just win. Because as soon as we don't have game one, we just always win. Like, it's just game one is just cursed for us.
It's cursed.
Wow.
So game one in BO5, we'll probably lose. But I'm counting on 3-1.
Unless you warm up.
Yeah.
Then maybe.
But then we might peak early. So but maybe we'll just surprise our opponents. Sometimes more, sometimes not.
Yeah. Speaking of those warm-ups, because maybe some people at home don't really understand. Do you warm up against like one of your academy teams? You warm up against another LEC team? Is it a best of one, a best of three? How many games do you play?
You can kind of play how many you want, right? Usually we play like 1, 2, 3 games, something like this, right? And we just play against LEC teams, academy teams, whoever is willing to play with us. Not too many teams like to do warm-up. I think not too many teams, I've never really, I've done it before in season 7, but it's it's been a long time since I did warm-ups. But it's just, this year is just specific because we just have a 50-50 win rate game one.
Yeah.
But every other game we just win. And it was kind of showing on stage that we were winning some games, losing some games, looking kind of shaky. But the last 2 weeks we just did the warm-ups, and sure, we lost against Misfits, but all our games were very our favorite, I would say. And I'm sure we're going to show up well against Rogue tomorrow. And then again, maybe we lose game one in playoffs, but the rest of the games we're winning.
I love the confidence and energy.
2022 sounds like a year to break curses anyway. We saw that with Excel earlier today. Maybe congrats for making playoffs, Caedrel. I don't know if
Thank you guys. Thank you.
applies. We're still missing one team though in playoffs, and we've been folding along with our foldy sheet all day, and 32 scenarios now remain. One Twitter user, though, is particularly dedicated to the cause. Philip has been folding from the very first start of the day. He's now on 6 folds, and he'll need the power of fold just now. I thought you could only fold a sheet 7 times?
Yeah,
was it?
I think it's physically impossible, but I think Philip might break it in the end, if we go through to next day.
Man.
I mean, there's 32 more scenarios where playoffs can happen. Of course, most of them, that's always, the top 3, top 4, how it's going to shape up. But the most important one is always going to be that Vitality Mad Race.
Yeah.
Not having Vitality in playoffs would be really, really weird, don't you think?
I think both of them not being in playoffs is crazy.
True.
But for sure, if Herc's not in playoffs, that would be such a shame because playing against him is always fun.
Yeah.
Today was the first time I played against him since we played, right? On stage. And I felt like I was nervous, right? It feels very different from playing even other old teammates because I was even laning against him. So it was so much fun, and I'm really hoping that they make the lower bracket run, and we'll meet them in the final.
If they make it. Is it a different kind of vibe playing against Perks? I mean, when you play against all these mid laners, VTOs having incredible games, 10 Pogs, Larson, playing against Perks, is it like that? Is there kind of any, I want to beat him just to kind of, get a bit of banter after the game? Is there any banter in the pre-game that he's typing to you because G2 tended to do that?
there was no banter in the pre-game. There was for sure some banter when we recorded the, I don't know if you saw the intro.
Yeah.
There was a lot of banter, a lot of we were trying to alt flex on each other. Oh, we're doing it like this and this and this. And I'm doing this and stuff like this. And trying to one up each other, But there was not really any banter in pre-game. But I think it was just it was more just nerves, I think, from playing against him. It was mostly before the game started and the first 2, 3, 4 minutes. The first minutes of lane, I was just kind of nervous, I guess.
Yeah.
My legs were shaking a bit.
Aww.
Yeah. So that was kind of fun.
Oh,
Still came out on top though.
Yeah.
and friendship goes beyond the rift and beyond the teams. That's really nice to hear. Focusing more maybe on the day we're going to have tomorrow, because we were just talking about stakes and the schedule. And I mean, it will be the last day of the regular season. Every game still has implications, either for top 2 of the playoffs qualification. Caedrel, what match are we looking at tomorrow? I see 2 of them, but the first one maybe.
Yeah, I mean, we have talked about Vitality Mad, and of course this is the playoffs last spot, which is exciting. I'm just interested in the Rogue G2 game, because to me that sounds like a banger. You sound like you got so much confidence going into it. You know, we'll take care of Rogue. You know, depends on who's going to finish top 1. Maybe Fnatic can snatch it from them. But that's the most exciting game to me, because I think this is the final game of the split. This is the best form we're going to see these 2 teams in throughout the entire regular season.
caPs, who do you have your eyes on for tomorrow?
I mean, I think just like, I think the race of playoffs is for sure on my eyes. So like, I'd like to see the Vitality game. We're probably watching that, hoping that we'll get the win. And for sure, our game is also hype. Rogue is, I guess, first if they win, right? I think that is locked first if they win against us.
I think they are locked first if they win.
For sure, denying them that will be fun. I think it also gives a good showing of how strong we'll be in playoffs. And I'm just happy that we're top 4 now. We had some good games against XL and Vitality, and if we didn't, maybe they would have stolen our top 4 spot, right?
And there's still a few scenarios in which G2 and Fnatic have to play a tiebreaker for the 3rd seed. That would be a banger also.
Oh, that's tomorrow. So it will be played at the end of tomorrow. So after your rogue game, if you do win and a tiebreaker happens, or however it functions, you might have a tiebreaker game against Fnatic for 3rd place. That's pretty. Is that fun? Do you think? Is that getting another best of all on stage?
Yeah, I mean that sounds fun. I mean, more games is always nice, especially because we played the game 5, so we're already here. So it's like kind of convenient for us even.
Plus, maybe if it's to do with losing, or if it's the best one you lose, then you get another game on stage and you'll win the next one, because obviously the first games you're a bit shaky.
Also because we were playing for 2nd, right? I think.
You'll be playing the 6th
because
game.
then Rogue would be first and Misfits would be like
that would be it. Yeah,
4th,
we'll have to know if Misfits can still end first, and then will be decided between the 2.
Yeah. I mean, either way, it will be a lot of fun. It'll be even more fun if we then end up playing them in BO5 right after. But it will always be good to get some mental advantages like before the game.
Yeah, and of course, the way the playoffs bracket works, I believe first will choose, and then whoever they don't choose will face second. But then I guess the higher seed probably gets some kind of side selection bonus, so that's why it would be important.
Yeah, side selection for the first game, I think. But well, we'll see by the end of tomorrow. Still, the last day of the regular season will be exciting. Before we go, tradition. Shox is not here, but still PGL selfie, if you guys don't mind.
Yeah, we're sitting. I guess we're sitting for this.
We're sitting. Let's
across the good old sofas.
Yay. Thank you, guys. And thanks to everyone at home. That's all for us tonight, but there will be more LEC tomorrow with the last day of the regular season. Last round of the Super Week with 5 more games. If you can't get enough League of Legends tonight, the LCS is starting with their Week 5 with Immortal versus Evil Geniuses right now. See you all tomorrow and have a good night.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.